Hello and welcome to this video where I will be putting up my Christmas lights on my Christmas tree. I laid out all that I thought I needed. I was aiming for just 4 lines of string. I don't have the stats on the super long line of string, but I laid out essentially 3 lines of warm light per the box and 1 line of green lights. Spoiler, I didn't end up using the green light. But here I go, and I'm just, the warm light is working. Let's get into it. So last year I did this as well, where I had a core of warm lights and an outer shell, if you will, of green. And I want to say that I have 4 green lights and 2 warm lights. I either have 6 or 8 lights. I forget how many I have. Anyway, I'm just, pushing her through, and I'm like, why didn't I game this out better? Like, I know better. I know that maybe the best option would have been for me to lay these lights as I was assembling the tree before I fluffed out everything. Arguably, right? Because fluffing out the limbs with the lights on them might have been really awkward. But, something to consider for next time, I guess. And so I'm getting up halfway to the tree, and I'm not really, worried about anything because these are the same lights I had last year. Okay, I bought the 2 gold lights, the 2 warm LED lights, and I'm like, cool, great. It should be no issue. I go to plug in the second one, and suddenly, I don't know why. Why are these lights cold lights? Why are these cold lights in this warm light box? So I go and I try and find some other lights that I have in the corner and see if maybe it just got misplaced, if they're somewhere else, not in this box. I don't know where these lights are, so I've got to make a decision. Either maybe I can try and continue with the cold lights attached to the warm lights, but nah, that's not gonna work. These warm lights, unfortunately, as lovely as they look, need to come out. They cannot be the core. And so I'll just share some thoughts I guess I've had since I lit up the tree and whatnot. This is the second year I've had this tree, this Alberta spruce, and I like it. It's real nice and rigid and whatnot. It kept real well. I don't remember it spinning in the base like it does this year. I mean, it's a lot less. It's less rigid than it was last year. But then also, like the last couple days, I saw people talking about either washing or blow drying clean their Christmas tree. Maybe that's something to do next year. I don't know. I feel like some of the little branches will come off easy, so I don't know. We'll have to see. I will say that I don't know why on camera these cool lights look so blue. They don't really look so blue in person. They do and they don't, but they look extra blue on screen. But they are, in fact, just very white, stark lights. So, but my thinking at this point going in was that, okay, you know what? Maybe cool lights as the core lighting of the tree would make sense because my plan is to go more ornament heavy. I do just want like a lot of glitter and a lot of light reflection. I don't know that warm lights give as much reflection as, one might want. So I'm like, okay, I talked myself in my heart into accepting this reality. Of the cool lights as the core. Also, note how I'm spinning the tree, as I mentioned. And eventually, I do realize that I shouldn't be doing this because unlike one of these rotating tree stands, the cord was wrapping itself around the tree. So at some point, I do, unwrap the short cord from around the tree, the base of the tree. But don't do that unless, again, you have a base or something that allows for that. Yeah. What I really want is a pedal. So I could just step on it as opposed to the surge protector that I have to physically press. A pedal or a pedal with a remote, I don't know. Maybe I should have led with this, but also I want you to take note of my sweater. It was pointed out to me that, it'd be fun to dress up to match the sentiment of Christmas tree decorating, right? Which is to say, either color coordinate or, just dress up seasonally. We're approaching winter, we're in fall, and I'm decorating in my house shorts with my flip flops on, but I'm also in North Carolina, and it's hot outside, and it's not necessarily hot inside, but especially with lights, like all this electricity, it's throwing off a lot of heat. So at some point, I did take off the sweater and I put it back on, and I would take it off and I would put it back on, but that was mostly when I was pausing the camera. And as I go up, I'm trying not to be super tight. Like I wanted to get to the core, and I'm trying to go on the inside of every rung, if you will, of branches. I'm trying to make sure I'm on the same rung. And as I'm getting closer to the top, I'm like, is this actually a lot of tail left? Which it kind of was, but I kind of just eventually just gathered it mostly at the top. So, and here I go undoing the wrapping at the base. So, like I said, make sure you don't turn the tree. I'm working with limited space, let's say. It can't be in the middle of the room, essentially, at the moment. I wouldn't have it in the middle of the room. We don't have that set up, right? So it's not like something I can just walk around. I kind of have to pull it away and to the wall. So. So I ended up doing this last year when I was just generally unhappy with the lights after sitting with it for a couple days, and I would end up buying more lights to add more lights, blah, blah, blah. But the way I tucked the surplus downwards, like, I don't know if I'm happy about it because I feel like I'm crossing wires, blah, blah, blah. This is setting it up to be like a terrible takedown, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know that at this point I will redo all of this because I don't think I made it super tight, on top of which all the lights on the tree ended up being connected to one strand, one plug. So it's 4 strands connected. So I don't think I want to undo the last 2 trees. Undo the last 2 strands to better tuck, when the idea is still everything's going to be covered by ornaments. So, we'll see, I guess. I'm not really sure why I decided at this point to turn off the lights that were closer to me. There's still the one light behind the tree, the overhead recessed lights anyway. But it just gave the ambiance of like, ooh, tree decorating and Christmas and seasonality. Forget, mind you, that tomorrow we're set to see highs in the 80s. It just gave warmth, right? But I think, at least for my eyes, it helped me better see the balance or the dominance of the warm lighting over the the cool lighting at the core. It really just said, oh, okay, warm. So I appreciated that. Yeah. The lights I had last year were all from the Walmart. So they're, I think, 2 LED packs, and all the green lights I have were the incandescent greens, right? This strand of lights that I'm putting on, these warm strand of lights, these are the larger ones that, like, they're not as small as the incandescent or the LEDs. They're the larger ones. I think they sell them in those large rolls, maybe. I don't know. We've had these for a couple of years, and I'm not the one who bought them. But these lights, the point I'm making, are the bulbs are bigger. And so a lot goes a lot longer way. The strand is a lot longer than the other 2 strands that I had previously put on the tree. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I can make this work. I think I can stretch it up. all the way to the top, is my thinking at this point. Maybe around here, maybe a bit earlier, I'm like, is this gonna reach? And I'm like, you know what? If I zigzag it enough, and maybe I could have zigzagged enough, but I like a consistent, even lighting, right? So what I ended up doing is going back and get that first strand of warm lights, and I went back and I corrected my stretch zigzagging because it just wasn't looking right to my eye. And I will say that what looked right to my eye is not necessarily translates super well on a camera. Like, to my eye, this tree is a nice balance of the warm and the cool lights, with the warm lights more dominant. The camera definitely pops out the inner core one, and kind of makes the inner core look a bit uneven, but that's less to do with the laying of the lights, presumably, and more to do with the fluffing of the tree, or lack thereof, or shadows created by and whatnot. And so, I don't necessarily think I'll be putting a lot of ornaments at the top, which is why I'm super okay going more light heavy at the top of the tree. And I'm, this is a 7.5 foot tree for 8 foot ceilings. We're not getting a topper here. I'm not a topper girl anyway. So if anything, we can always just look up and have lights. And then probably the body of the tree, that is the lower portion of that top portion of the tree, the top portion that doesn't have the fluffing branches, whatnot. That's probably going to be super ornament heavy. So that we have this outer bits that maybe aren't super well lit up. The idea is I want light emanating from within and reflecting gently on ornaments that will be a variety of color ornaments, right? So, because my idea this year is traditional with a colorful twist. We'll see how that ends up working out, if so. Anyway, here's how she came out. Ain't she gorgeous? Yes, she is. Do stay tuned for when I will be putting up ornaments, which, might end up being a lot sooner than later, because I've got Christmas movies to watch and moods to be in. So until next time, goodbye.